Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. My name is David, this is David K Reacts, and today I am looking at one of the most requested videos by Pentatonix that I have got so far. There are several in this. The most requested is actually Sound of Silence. I will get to that, I promise, but there's so many Sound of Silence covers that are being requested from different angles, particularly since I did Disturbed's cover, and I sort of have a plan for those that's going to be a bit spread out. I'm about ready to do another one, and I just haven't decided which one yet, but it will be coming. But today I'm going to be looking at Shallow. This has been requested by a bunch of people, including Susan Stein, the Chimiji, Susan Peterson, and Gwyneth. I hope I'm going for the Welsh pronunciation. I hope I've got that correct. This song, I know, I was recommended it as Kirsten and Scott share a lead in this, and also I've been told that Kevin plays the cello in this one, which I'm rather excited to see. I had heard on the grapevine that this was a thing that he did, and I'm very keen to hear it. So yeah, I know nothing. I think this is an original again. I know nothing about it. Future David here, coming in to say that past David is an idiot. I finished recording this reaction about an hour ago, and I said I was convinced the whole way through it. I was of two minds, because I'm going to either have just stated or will be about to state in the reaction, depending on where I put this insert, that I think this is an original song. I completely blanked on the fact that it existed. I have heard the Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper version of this. I have not seen A Star Is Born, and nowhere on the video on Pentatonix channel, I don't think, maybe in the comments, but in the description and in the title of the track, I'm pretty sure it does not say it's a cover. Probably because the song is so popular they didn't need to say that. The music I listen to is very eclectic. I do listen to some popular music, but you know, on my own dime, it tends to be metal, musical theatre, jazz, video game soundtracks, things like that. Very, very weird mix. So I've probably heard this on the radio occasionally, or in a store, or on Instagram, or in commercials, things like that. But I'm not super familiar with it. As soon as I heard the da-da-da-da-da, my brain went, you've heard this before, and I convinced myself I was reacting to a Pentatonix song I had already heard them sing, which just goes to show how far down the confirmation bias rabbit hole you can go if you're not thinking straight. I am aware this is a cover. I have heard the original. I don't really know it well enough to have made any comparisons anyway, so there's nothing really missing there, but I just wanted to clarify that point before I get reamed out in the comments for getting that wrong. So yes, back to past David, who can atone for his sins by delivering a pretty decent reaction and analysis to this video. So I'm not going to have an awful lot to say leading into this one. I didn't even really glance at the thumbnail. I try not to. If I know exactly what I'm going to be reacting to, and it's not one of those, you know, I knew I was going to do this. I wasn't going to go through looking for styles and decided I wanted a happy song or a sad song or something like that. Sometimes I will do that, and I'll look to see between 2 or 3 thumbnails if I feel like I can get a vibe. With this one, I decided this was the song I was doing. I just clicked on it. I have no idea what's happening. So this is going to be a relatively short introduction, because I don't really have an awful lot to say about the song. Other than I'm looking forward to seeing it, because I want to see what PTX has to share with us. This was done 4 years ago. I did have a quick glance and saw, as usual, not much information on their description, unfortunately. But yeah, 4 years ago. And that's about all I know, so we'll see what's coming. So with that, I'll just jump into it by saying welcome back to my channel. Welcome if this is your first time here. If it is, the way this works, I watch the video through without stopping, just emoting and commenting over the top, straight reaction, and then I will go back, pause it, restart it rather, and watch it again, pausing and interrupting and offering what analysis and commentary I feel I can. If you're just here for a reaction, the first quarter or so of this video will probably suffice for you. please do like the video, hit that thumbs up down there, hit the subscribe button. Really appreciate your help there. It costs you nothing, but it does wonders for me, and it's really going to help to boost the channel. We're over 2,000 now, which is so good, and I just want to keep that number growing. Hit the notification bell if you'd like to decide how often you are told about my videos, and if you would care to, please head over to buymeacoffee.com/DavidKReacts, where you can donate to support the channel if that's something that you would like to do. No pressure, of course, but very much appreciated if you do so. That, I think, is everything, so I'm just going to jump straight in on this, and let's see what Pentatonix has to offer with Shallow. Ooh, cello off the bat, I like it. Oh, just the metal in color, that's nice. The cello strings.
Are you happy in this modern world? What are you needing, boy?
Oh.
Is there something else you're searching for? I'm falling in all the good times I find myself.
This is gorgeous. The cello's a lovely addition.
For change, and in the bad times I feel myself.
Oh, these splashes of gold are just beautiful. It's such a nice touch for the black and white.
Tell me something, boy. Aren't you tired trying to fill that void? Or do you need more? Ain't it hard keeping it so hardcore? I'm falling. In all the good times I find myself
oh, this is beautiful. The cello's the perfect timbre to go with them. Gorgeous. Oh, this is a nice build. I like this. Oh, that is so effective, that build there. Wow. It's like a wall of sound. It's amazing. Oh. Oh, that is so good. That's really nice. Let's just...
Tell me something, girl. Are you happy in this modern world? What are you needing, boy?
I just... Oh, that timbre of the cello fits so well. Gorgeous. That's lovely. That's really, really nice. The sound that they created there was extraordinary. It was so full. And I think it's extraordinary because they were already creating a big sound, and then they had the build into an even bigger sound. That was really effective. Beautiful piece of music. I love the video. Kind of gave me vibes of Happy Now, actually, at the beginning with the whole black and white thing. But the fact that it stayed that way, we only ever had those splashes of gold. And the subtlety of it, I saw... I don't know my string instrument terminology, but the sort of springs, or whatever they are, that are at the very, very bottom of the cello string, the detail that was splashed in gold. I'm not sure if that's a... do you remove everything except that one color, excuse me? Or is that just they've gone to that detail of making the whole thing black and white, and then picking out the things that are to be gold? I'm not 100% sure how that's achieved, but the monochrome nature of it, the fact that it's entirely black and white and there is a single color that is highlighted throughout, that was brilliant. What a really, really smart way to design a video. So striking. So simple, but so striking. And it allows... I'm analyzing before I'm even there now, but it allows for this flex where, depending on the shot, you have different amounts of color in it. And it's not, you know, you've sort of got the consistency of if it's gold, it's gold. But is it just that we're having a close-up on Kirsty and we can just see the earrings, the eye rings, excuse me? Or have we got this wider shot where you can see the vase or the fan, and you can also pick out other details of jewelry, things like that? So clever! And the sound of that, my goodness, that was stunning. The cello is one of my favorite instruments. I never learned to play it. It's probably a tie between that and French horn, of being the two instruments I wish I had tried playing at some point. I did play double bass for a short while, maybe 2.5 years, but I was very young and I never really kind of ran with string instruments after that. I stuck more with woodwind, saxophone, clarinet, that sort of thing. And of course the piano. But yeah, the sound of the cello is beautiful. The sound of the cello mixed in with those voices. And I love the fact that it allowed for a long period with no vocal percussion because Kevin was playing the cello. But at the same time, there was that extra sound beyond just sung vocals. And so it filled that gap. And then when we added the vocal percussion in, it filled out even more. That was a really, really nice decision. Anyway, I'm doing a crazy amount of analysis without watching back. So I'm going to jump back to the beginning. Let's watch this through again and see what I can tease out of it. I do like... there's not much to talk about here. It's simple text on a screen. But I do like that there's consistency in their titles. It kind of gives... I don't know if this is specifically for one album or if it was just something they've adopted across the board. Haven't quite kept track of that. But I do enjoy that fact because it gives a cohesion to the introduction of their work. Simple, effective. Yeah, nice choice. That, straight off the bat, such a powerful choice to start. So I just want to check myself on this. Yeah, so for one eighth note, one quaver of this piece, you hear just vocals. And yet we've started on the neck of the cello. That's a really interesting decision because it immediately gives focus to the cello. It's not on the 4 other people who are singing, or however many it is, at this point in time. It is on the cello. And it's nice because it is something different. I don't know how often Kevin plays. I believe it's in a couple of songs at least. But it highlights that there's something new going on here, especially if this is the first time you've seen it happen, as it is with me. He's a beautiful cello player, incidentally. But I like the fact that that's their choice to start. It's something you wouldn't get very often with their videos. And so I think it's really smart in that regard. I can also see now, I'm focusing on it, he has a ring on his 3rd finger as well, so it doesn't appear to be a color reduction. I think they've made it black and white, and then unless that's a very differently colored ring, I think they've made it fully black and white and then added details back in, which in some ways is even crazier because now you've got to paint those details into every shot. I would into every frame rather. I would think. But again, I'm not 100% sure how this has been achieved. But that's a solid effort in post if that is what's happened. If it's just that ring's bronze or something like that and the colors are different, then it might still be a reduction technique. I'm not 100% certain, but very, very cool first shot. And it's interesting because we're focusing on the hand which is playing the cello. So we're seeing the articulation of the hand as it moves across the strings. And it helps the flash of gold helps to draw attention to those movements. Yeah, this is really well crafted first shot. And there we can see the one ring on the other hand, but also that's what I was talking about down there at the bottom of the screen. The bottom of the strings have these little bit of golds. Hey, bud. You coming down? I don't know if you folks can hear Timmy. It's difficult for me to know what this mic picks up. He's at the top of the basement stairs. Like, I want to come! You want to come down? Hold that thought. No, he just wanted food an hour early. We'll see if he comes down a bit later when it gets closer to actual dinner time. I just gave him a snack. Anyway, yeah, I just think I'm so taken with this color choice for this video. It's so cool. Really, really like this. I just want to jump. I threw myself off going up there. Hang on 1 second. I want to jump back on that. That's so nice because that whole little introduction passage, the vocals are all supporting the cello. The cello is the focus. It's not even there as a backing instrument. It is for a moment the melodic It is for a moment the melodic focus of the song. And that, again, just lovely choice because it's something different. And it's a beautiful line. I love that. It's got a sense of melancholy to it, but it's not sad yet. It's more something that's just it's emotional. It pulls at the heartstrings a little bit. It says there's something poignant in this song without being too much of a downer. And I think it's set in a major key, and I think that helps. But there's something about the movement, the pacing of that introduction that just kind of sets us up for what's to come and gives us this combination of a little bit of sadness, a little bit of hope, a little bit of melancholy. It's a really, really nice blend. I like that a lot.
Tell me something, girl. Are you happy in this modern world? What are you needing, boy?
Now there's lovely decisions again here. I like that. I'm just going to jump back on the beginning of that.
Are you happy in this modern world?
And until he's coming off the word world, the cello's gone for a minute. That's so nice too, because it gives space to the beginning of the sung vocals. And it says, hey, the cello's counterpoint to these vocals. It's not front and center any more so than this vocal line is. The words are important. The vocal line is important. The melody is important. But also, there's this cool cello line that's happening at the same time. And it comes back in at the end of that first line. And then it can do its thing because that space has been created for it. And that gives it gives a lot of agency to be able to do, sort of have some back and forth between the two parts. I think it's a really smart move.
What are you needing, boy? Is there something else you're searching for? I'm falling.
This vocal line for a start is lovely. Da 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 da. 6-5-3. Da da da. There's our tonic 1. It's a really nice open sound. Tell me something, girl. It starts up on an unexpected note, You know, songs starting on 5, on 1, on 3, all fairly common. Starting on a 6 is a nice sound. Resolving down in that first phrase down to the 3, da da da, that tells us it's in a major key, but it doesn't really resolve the sound. It leaves us hanging a little bit. And then, let me just double check myself on some of this.
Tell me something, girl. Are you happy in this modern world?
And then ending the line on the second. We still haven't, at no point in this melody have we hit the tonic note. It's in the harmony. It's been there in the harmony. It's been there in the cello. But it's not in what Scott is singing for that first line. And then the cello comes back in underpinning. And I like the fact that that first vocal line does not feature that. It keeps us between 6 and 2. And I think, I won't go back on that. But, it just gives us this lovely sense of there's somewhere to go, which is really, really effective with this. We're left expecting more. Great writing.
What do you need more?
Has he got a little bit?
What do you need more?
It's interesting. It sounds like a little bit of rasp has almost come in there, but almost producing some kind of overtone or something like that. I'm not quite sure what that sound is because I don't feel like he repeats it much. What do you need? I can't do it. Not 100% sure, but it's kind of a cool quality to have in the sound at that moment. Anyway, and there we get it. What do you need more? Now we hit the tonic. Now that the sound is filled out with everything playing at once, the cello's back in. And what's interesting is it's a question. What do you need more? We're going down. You know, if you're asking a question, don't you normally go up? I'm exaggerating, but you know what I mean.
Is there something else you're searching for?
And there, even though we're going down, because we end on the second, that question feels unresolved. Is this something we've been searching for? What do you need more? It's almost rhetorical because of that landing on the tonic. It's such an interesting choice there to have that question go down. This is gorgeous.
I'm falling.
Nice, because I think what we've got there.
Something else you're searching for.
Yeah, I think that's an A minor chord there. Da da da. I'm falling. It's nice because it gives us the tonic comes back in on a minor key and resolves as we go up. By the time we've got to we're back into our main key. But that gives us this sense of, oh, the question is still unresolved. We're going somewhere else. Lovely stuff. Lovely stuff. Ooh. Lovely stuff there. I love that kind of sound that comes in underneath, but also this soaring cello line that comes out. I'm falling. Now we get the sense that falling isn't a bad thing necessarily. This beautiful cello like, da, 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 just kind of sails up that lovely little crescendo, and then it comes back down again. But there's so much movement in that cello at that point in time. It's really catches the ear. It's gorgeous.
All the good times, in all the good times, I find myself longing for change.
Ooh, that harmony on change.
Longing for change.
Change underneath. Oh, that's lovely. Finishing on a second inversion of the main chord. You got Matt down there on a G. That's just a lovely, lovely sound. Oh, so rich. And then again, this gorgeous cello line coming in straight after. And that bell too. Longing, doo-doo. Just really, really nice. Gives a sense of that we're not landing on a complete chord there. We're getting that doo-doo coming in. It's giving us motion. Everything's pushing forward in this song. Even while it's quite slow in terms of the dum dum da da da. Like the melody, if you take the melody on its own, it's quite a slow melody. But if you take everything else that's going underneath, there's this gentle push underneath the whole time that keeps it moving forward. It's lovely.
I find myself longing for change, and in the bad times I feel myself.
That's lovely too. And in the bad time. Lovely upper harmony there. We're starting to spread the sound out more and more. Little bits of extra focus coming in. That's the first time we've had another vocal line really stand out in the background. It's still not up there with Scott. It's catching up. But I love that we get that. Even the breadth of the sound is pushing us forward a little bit.
And in the bad times I feel myself.
Oh, the subtlety of that riff from Scott. I'm not quite sure what he's doing. Oh.
Tell me something.
Lovely. We get that lovely ooh, and it's back to the ooh. There's a sudden drop back when we come into Kirsty's verse. Gives us a little bit of breath in the sound. Oh, this is just so good. And I love now we're starting to see a little bit more gold. Like we've got, that's a leaf behind, right? We've got the necklace. It's starting to be a little more prominent. We still have the ring in the background. The cello strings aren't aren't colored now. But we've got these little, everything's starting to build. From color, from sound quality, or sound, I mean quality in terms of like breadth and timbre and all that sort of stuff. Everything's pulling up. It's great, great stuff.
Tell me something, boy. Aren't you tired trying to fill that void?
And we slowly close this shot off. This is so interesting.
Tell me something.
We start off looking at Scott, looking at Kirsty, but with Scott in the foreground and Kevin in the background. And we take Scott out, and then we close Kevin out.
Or do you need
And now we have this beautiful close-up on Kirsty. Lovely, lovely change of shot as we've moved through there. The colouring is even disappearing. We went down to just the two rings in her eyes, and now even her own hair is starting to cover that up, and we're closing back into black and white again. That movement is brilliant. Ah, love it. This is just, these little bits of ingenuity in how something is shot stand out for me as just being really cool.
trying to fill that void? Or do you need more? Ain't it hard keeping it so hardcore? I'm falling.
And this time we get an even richer sound when everybody else comes back in the wider sound. I'm falling. Way down there, we've got a little bit more bass coming through. Everything's widening back out again. This is great. And I love that that shot carries on. I didn't talk about that.
Ain't it
We bring
hard
Kevin back
keeping
in.
it so
We bring Scott back in.
I'm falling.
And we're almost back at the shot we started with in that one long take. A little bit more skewed to the right. We see a bit more of Scott, a bit less of Kevin, but just lovely touch.
Hardcore, I'm falling. In all the good times, I find myself longing for change.
And now we're evolving the song more. Now we've got this fortune. Like everything is starting to widen now. Mitch is doing a little bit more now. Kirsty's obviously doing slightly different riffs to what Scott did. Everything's changing up. Everything's the build in this is fantastic.
And in the bad times, I fear myself. I'm on the deep end, watch as I dive in. I'll never meet the ground.
And I love we've had not quite an exact repeat, but a very similar thing of that the previous shot where we push in, but we push in on Kirsty as she's hitting that really high peak of where this song has been so far, and we get that intensity from just seeing her so close up, singing passionately at the camera. It's it's bringing us up. Even though we've closed the shot off, we've closed it off into something much more powerful. And then we open back up again as we did before. This is lovely. And now we finally get the whole group. We're halfway through more than halfway through the video, actually. 2 minutes and 5 seconds with, and there was about 20 seconds at the end of this that wasn't the song. So we're over halfway through, and now we get to see the whole space. We get the room. Now the small details aren't coloured, really. I think Kirsty's necklace might still be, or that might just be a flash of the light. But the big details are. Now the fan, the leaf, the vase, and in fact the sort of tripod that's holding that vase up. Things like that. We're focusing on a broader picture. And when we're already looking at the singers. We don't need to keep the focus on them because that's been established for the last 2 minutes. This is great. Such interesting camera work in this one. I like the fact that we start this with the chorus off for not even word shallow. So we've got as far as sha, and before shallow is fully completed, we're going to cut away from this. But just for a second, we focus in on the three soloists. I guess they are the three soloists in their own way. The cello and the two vocal leads. We just cut down there for a second because Mitch and Matt, while they're absolutely critical to this song, they're not the lead at any point. They have embellishments that come through, but they're not the lead. These three are leading this song. And so we cut to there. But then, for the repeat of In the Shallow, we cut to Kevin and the cello again. Oh, such an interesting move. We don't even, and we're not focusing on people when they come in because we have Matt come in on a lower bass note there, just gently in the background. Here. Dum, dum, dum. Coming in the background. We don't focus on Matt. We're still looking at the cello, and then we cut back to Kirsty again. I love that the kind of the rhythm section for this song, as it exists so far, we're obviously going to get vocal percussion coming in as well. But the vocal support, if you like, for this song is just allowed to do its thing without being forced into focus. Because it doesn't need to be for what this song is doing. And that's really nice. We know they're there. We know, we've seen enough of them to know that they play an important part in what's going on here. But they aren't the critical part. They aren't they're the skeleton of the song they're the foundation that are supporting it. They're not the meat on top that's really creating the melody and the emotional pull in here. That's coming from these two and from Kevin as well. Oh, actually, I love this cello line. Is stunning. Coming up to that fourth, that climb up there, da, 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 da. Don't know what the notes are, just making that up, but settling on that and then coming down from there, that is such a beautiful peak to hit while this is being sung. It's so beautiful because it pushes us in with an upper note into the subdominant, the fourth, for a moment before we come back down out of it again. And it's such a nice thing that we get the tonic note of the subdominant coming from the cello. Well, if I'm not mistaken, I think Matt is coming in on the tonic of the song. Dum, dum. No, he's coming in on the second. So we're getting a... I think we're getting a minor second there, maybe? I'm not 100% sure. But it's... whatever it is, I'm not... Again, I apologize for those who haven't seen my channel before. I have a piano that I would love to have set up, but the basement that I'm recording in, I do not have the space to do so. So I can't really do these chord breakdowns. Sometimes I take the time to identify small beats, sometimes I don't. If I do, I'll put a note here. Regardless, it's just such a beautiful sound that we're climbing up to. And I love these flexes in and out of minor chords that we get here. They're so beautifully placed for making this song... It's a constant reminder that there is some melancholy in what we are hearing. And we always resolve back out of them again. And there's a real play with the emotions in what we're hearing here.
In the we're far from the shallow now.
Oh, I like the streaks, the two little gold streaks on Scott's jacket. That's just kind of cool. Yeah, I just these little, what they choose to highlight, where you catch little highlights of color. It's so fascinating. And notice, I think, other than Kirsty's rings, I don't think there are any splashes of color on the face, which is what you'd think for a vocal group the focus might be, obviously cello notwithstanding. That's really cool too. There's so many cool little interesting things you can pick up watching videos like this. Oh, my next shot proves me wrong. There's Mitch's earrings as well. Never mind. Oh, that's funny. I love that the next two shots both prove me wrong. But also interesting that the supporting singers have things on their face that are being highlighted in color, as does Kirsty, but Kevin and Scott don't. Watch a shot prove me wrong now. One of them's going to suddenly have a gold beret on or something. I'm being silly. But yeah, it's... regardless, that's an interesting choice in and of itself. I love that intro into the wider thing. We get it's the cello that leads. There's so much cello leading in here. The cello is really kind of, it's taking us from section to section as we go. And I really, really like that. But I love this shift between the pure vocal section going into the now adding vocal percussion as well. And that little coming in as well. Small things that just lead into sections. And I love that we come in on Mitch providing a counter melody to anything that we've heard prior. And it's quite an abrupt start for the vocal percussion, but it works so well because they've been building up to this point. This is what I was talking about. They've hit quite a strong sound, but they're going to build further. And they're going to start that build by jumping into this. Now we have this vocal percussion, which really just has a... That's all the lead-in you really get to knowing it's coming. And it's really effective just starting like that. And I think what's happening here, I'm not 100% sure, but I think Matt and the cello are doubling. And I'm going to say the cello rather than Kevin, because Kevin's now doing beatboxing as well. But I think they're doubling each other. And it's nice because we get this double timbre on those notes. This boom, 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 boom. We're getting both the attack of the coming from Matt, as well as the attack of the string, which is a slightly more gradual attack, but because it's being played quite staccato, it's still a bit punchy. Really, really nice work there. I love that we're getting this sort of... It's not quite a descant, because it's not being sung over something, but this kind of wail, higher sound coming from Mitch here that is just countering everything that's going on underneath. Really, really effective. Ooh, the clash. That's lovely. Lovely second there. Seconds are so clashy, they give you such a lot of richness. And if you voice them correctly, which has been done here, you've got them higher up, there's support underneath. A second in the bass is often very, very muddy, but a second higher up adds this lovely fleshed out sound. That's gorgeous. And then so that's going to be, I think that's Kirsty singing that, and then resolves up to the note that Mitch is on. So, well, Mitch is already up there. Really, really nice. Oh, that's nice too, the drop there. I like, there's some nice preparation for this. Mitch staying on the one note, over 3 notes underneath him, sorry. And then you get this slide up on the cello. Or not slide, so boom, boom, boom. And there's a little bit of a push there on the cello note to the drop. And you could be forgiven if I hadn't seen Kevin not playing the cello. I wouldn't have thought it had dropped. That's how they're fitting it into the sound so well. I thought for a second it was still going on. It again, when it comes back in again in a second, it definitely hasn't been there. But I like that. I think that's a powerful effect that they've managed to create there. And notice we've got this same sweep again. We sweep in on Kirsty, we sweep out to have Scott and Kevin in the frame. But it's so much faster. The camera motion has picked up speed now as well. Everything is picking up. Also, props to Kevin for beatboxing and playing the cello at the same time. I can't imagine. I mean, the cello's not playing anything too complicated, but at the same time, you know, you've got to be thinking about 2 different things at the same time there. And it's having played the organ, which is the closest I can come to this, where you're playing with both hands and feet at the same time, and they're doing different things. It is challenging. I guess drums is probably similar. You have to have that, you know, you almost have to split your mind to think about the different patterns you've got to do. It's just really cool to see this being done. Same with when Lane was playing violin in voice play. Very, very cool seeing vocal percussionists multitask. Such a lovely arc there, because we have this, it's really quite powerful. You know, there's this power, even though it looks, Kirsty makes it look so easy, like she's not doing anything. But there's powerful sounds there, and then we're gradually coming down. The ground. And we're quite quiet, comparatively speaking. I'm exaggerating that. As we get to the end of that phrase, we've had this bit, you know, it's kind of shot up, and then this gradual descent throughout. It's really nice.
We're far from the shallow now. In the shadow.
And then again, we have slightly distracted. I just heard whoa, 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 came into my head. Bad Romance. But I like that we have that. Like we launch back up again with that, just an or whoa sound. With vocalization, and then come back in on lyrics again. It's just a nice way to kind of catapult us back up to kind of get that intensity back again. And it's nice, even when we've got this big sound going on and everybody, you know, there's volume coming from the vocals, the cello's playing this surprisingly gentle line underneath. And it's really nice hearing that. You can hear it particularly about halfway through. It kind of matches the same arc, just quicker. Da 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 da. It comes in with some intensity and then just climbs down again a little bit more. Really nice. And that's an interesting choice too, right at the end there. Multiple interesting choices, actually. Where is the change? Shallow, where? There it's changed. The cello's just holding on for that one syllable. And then all of a sudden... Is Kevin even singing there? So I think, well, it would indicate in the video Kevin is not singing. So it's the four of them singing in unison. So we've got this big vocal sound that has suddenly gone away, coming really, really tight into vocal unison, and we're finishing on that third da 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 ba. We're not finishing that arpeggio down. Far from the shallow now. And we're stopping, leaving it hanging. That uncertainty is still there, just a little bit. We haven't closed this sound off. We've closed it on a very narrow, incomplete tone. Which is just a really, really nice choice. We're far from the shallow now, but that doesn't necessarily mean we know where we are settled. Great work. Great work. This is a lovely video. I really, really like this one. I also love the fact that they've got this pattern rug on the floor. That's a really, really nice choice as well. It just kind of gives something... It's the whitest thing in frame in terms of brightness, other than the lights. And, you know, obviously the light outside the window. But there's nothing in the room that has the brightness of this rug. So it's only when we pull out to this wide shot that we even see it as being that bright. It's just... it's cool. I really love how innovative Pentatonix has been with some of their videos. Like, between this and Happy Now, these lovely ones. What was the song? Oh my goodness. With all the glass shards in it. Be My Eyes. Beautiful, beautiful video work. The cinematography they're doing, the way that they're enhancing what they're singing with their focus, the way that they picked up the cello in this as being such a key ingredient. Yeah, we don't always have a cello. Let's feature the cello. And it didn't feel to me, I don't think, maybe on future watchings I'll disagree with this statement, but it didn't feel to me like it was taking away from anything, even though we were seeing it a lot. And that, I think, was really effective. I really, really like this one. Well played, Pentatonix. Great video. Great song. Great performances. Yeah. I think that's about does it for this. Thank you very much indeed for watching with me. I hope that I brought something to you, be it the song in the first place, or something about it that you hadn't considered before. If I have done, that's what I'm trying to achieve here, is just bring people something, whatever that may be. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Please do like the video. Please do hit that subscribe button and choose how often you'd like to be notified. And if you would care to, do head over to buymeacoffee.com/DavidKReacts, where you can support the channel by donating, if you would care to do so. And thanks for joining me for this. I hope you enjoyed it. I really, really appreciate you being here. And I think that's going to do it for this week. So I will be back again shortly with something else. I'm not quite sure what. We'll see what comes up. I've got so much on my recommendations list now. Please keep them coming. Just beware, I have over 400. And, you know, these long-form videos, I can only really do one of these a week because it's you know, a lot of time to do these. I have some ideas of things I want to do with the channel moving forwards, and I'll probably post a video about that sometime in the not-too-distant future. But for now, yeah, I appreciate you watching. Thank you so much for joining me. Do have a wonderful rest of your day, especially you, Michael. I don't know, the times weren't working. I figured I'd try a name. Take care, thank you for joining me, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.